Hey there, everyone. Just figured I'd give you a quick update. It's been a little over a week now since the game launched. We've had our first maintenance yesterday. We have our first new limited time event and our first new banner, which includes Belle and Beast from Beauty and the Beast. A couple of things I want to go over in this video, and as usual, I'll put timestamps in the video so you can jump around if there's a certain topic you would like to hear about and you don't want to hear me ramble on throughout the entire video. Feel free to jump around using the timestamp. So what I'm going to talk about in this video is, first, I will talk about the banner units. I think it's important to discuss whether or not they are any good and which one is the winner and which one you should or should not pull for. I'll talk about the new event. You see the little icon right down here, right next to where I'm clicking with the little purple mimic. That is where you get into the events. The only place that I know of that you can actually access the events. You have to go to the home screen and click on the mimic. I'll talk about the event, how it works if you haven't already tried it out. Talk about best ways to farm the event, and then I'll do a demo of the final stage. I beat the final stage of it. It's like a tower event. We'll get into that later on, and I'll show you how that works. And then I'd also like to just go over some things that I've learned over the last week playing the game. I've been poring over like the Reddit. The Reddit page, talking to folks in the Discord, and just trying to get a better understanding and a better grasp of the game so that I can explain it to you guys, if I do any more content with the game. I will say I'm not entirely impressed with the amount of content in the game thus far. It seems to be a very slow rollout of content, but at the same time, it means I can keep up with it easily, and I don't have to be worried about being absolutely swamped with content to get through. So, silver linings. Some people could see it as a good thing. Some people could see it as a bad thing. But there's really not a whole lot to do in the game. I finished all the bonus bosses last week before maintenance. That was kind of like the harder content, the more challenging content was doing the bonus bosses. And then we have this event, which is not particularly challenging, but anyways, that's neither here nor there. Let's go ahead and get started first by talking about the banner units. So they did give us 10 tickets to throw at either one of these banners. So in my last video, I said I was kind of upset that they didn't have tickets you could use on the current banners. And they did hand out tickets that are specifically for these banners. And it's important to know that you have to use those tickets on either Belle or Beast. You can't use them anywhere else, and you cannot use them on future banners. So if you're hoping to save those for next week to use them, no, you have to use them on Belle or Beast. They will not be good anymore if you wait and you don't use them. So make sure you use them. Which unit should you use them on? In my opinion, Belle is hands down the clear winner between these two units. Belle is a buffer. So she buffs the party's critical chance. So the chance of landing a critical hit, which is a very important damage modifier when you're thinking about dealing damage in this game. Having a crit buffer is really, really valuable. And she also increases the power of that critical modifier. So she's kind of double dipping there. And if you are able to limit break her a couple of times, she will also include an attack buff in that. I think on her first limit break, it actually includes the level 2 attack buff along with that. So she's a very good, she's obviously the best offensive buffer in the game currently. There is no other offensive buffer that beats her, because at LB1 she increases crit chance, crit power, and attack all in one skill. Also, her EX skill, you can't see it here. I'll actually show you because I did pull for her, and I did get her on the pity. I didn't get her along the way, but I did pity her. And I will show you that her EX ability does damage to all enemies if she has crit chance of level 2 or more, which she gets with her and an attack up at level 2 or more. So she has to have crit chance up and attack up at level 2 or more, which is very easy to do. You put her and Genie on a party, and she's basically going to be spamming her EX skill pretty much every turn. Also works very well. One of the reasons why I pulled her is because on my team, I use Hero Mickey a lot, and his EX skill also does heavy damage to one enemy when his own critical chances up at level 2. So that's why I personally went for Belle. But there's also another reason, because Beast is just not that good. Beast is a pure damage dealer. All he has is an attack skill that deals massive damage to one enemy. The only real kind of nice thing about him is that this skill is cheaper than most other single target DPSs by 5 SP. So most single target DPS units, their skill is 20 SP, whereas his is 15. So that's like the one thing he's got going for him. However, his base stats are much lower than most other single target DPS units. So for example, like Peter Pan, Aurora, they beat him handily, and his EX skill is not all that good. Unfortunately, I can't show you here because you can't actually look at it unless you own the unit in the index, which honestly I think is a real bad move on their part. I think one of the ways they could improve people wanting to actually pull for these units is to show them the full character outlay when you look at the character info, because this just doesn't really tell us anything about the unit. He's at level 1, it's like, what does that mean? But from what we've seen from other people pulling him and showing the stats, he's just not that good. He's an easy skip. So do not waste time on Beast. There are better units out there. We even get a free unit that, dare I say, is better than Beast from the current event. I'll talk about the free unit in a minute. So Belle is the clear winner here. Definitely, if you want to pull on this banner, or if you're new to the game and you're re-rolling, re-roll on the Belle banner for sure. All right, and while you're at it, re-roll until you get a Genie to go with her, because Belle plus Genie equals, just equals. You're going to have an easy time in this game. Genie, I still maintain, is probably the best unit in the game. I think I mentioned that in my last video. He is fantastic. I actually pulled a dupe Genie on my way to Pity for Belle. I was so happy about that, so I now have him at LB1, which makes him even better. I absolutely love Genie. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, Genie is a support unit, and as you can see, he does a level 2 attack buff, level 2 damage reduction, and level 2 evasion to all allies at LB1. If you don't have him at LB1, it's just the attack up and damage reduction, which is still fantastic. That's amazing. And then his EX skill, as long as you have a good healer on your party, his EX skill is going to proc pretty much anytime you use his own skill. He's a really, really fantastic unit. So if you're re-rolling in this game, Genie is a good one. I would say re-rolling, trying to get Genie, Pooh, and Winnie the Pooh and Belle, along with a good healer like Baymax or Rapunzel, and you are set. You are absolutely set in this game. All right, so those are the banners. Belle's the winner. Pull for Belle. Ignore Beast. You can skip him. Now let's talk about the event. I did mention that there is a unit that you get for free from the event, and that is Cinderella. We'll have a quick look at Cinderella. I haven't leveled her up yet. She is an AoE damage dealer, so she's great for free-to-play players. She replaces Carnival Mickey easily. She's much stronger than Carnival Mickey because she starts out dealing heavy damage, and then when you upgrade or limit break her, she gets massive damage. So that's one of the things I've learned over the course of this week, is that there's a big difference between heavy damage and massive damage. And so a heavy damage modifier is much lower than a massive damage modifier. So you definitely want to look for units with massive damage, because they're going to deal much, much more than units that only deal damage or heavy damage, okay? And you can get all the materials to limit break her all the way up to max for free from grinding the event. All right, so she's actually really, really good for free-to-play players who are just looking for a nice, AoE damage dealer that maybe, folks that don't have Maleficent or Mulan or Donald Duck. All right, if you have Maleficent, Mulan, or Donald Duck, then you don't really need to waste time building up Cinderella. But if you don't have a good AoE DPS and like you're still running with Carnival Mickey, definitely grind the event to get Cinderella. So you get her for free by buying the ticket for her from the exchange shop. You see, this is the battle challenge screen. It is a tower type event. So you basically just, you go in here and you fight a boss, and it's just one boss. So like, for example, I'll just jump in here and I'll show you. You just jump in here. Level 10 is the one I've been grinding. So I just do it on auto battle. And so you just go in and it's just one boss, that's it. And you win, you get the medals for it. You also get 100 crystals for each stage that you beat. So if you beat all 30 stages, that's 3,000 crystals, which is a 10 pull, which is pretty nice. So there you go. I've been farming level 10 just because it's very easy for me to beat it in turn 1. You'll notice it costs 0 stamina. So you can literally just indefinitely farm this thing, and you should. You should farm it. You should farm it as much as you can. If you got like a macro to farm it while you're sleeping at night, or an auto clicker or something to farm this thing, do it, man. Just do it. But the idea is you want to try and beat it as high as you can go. At some point you might realize that you just can't beat it. Like, you might only be able to get up to level 28. And that's fine. Me personally, I was able to beat it all the way up to max level. And the idea is it's sort of like a percentage population type of ranking event. And so what they'll look at is they'll look at the percentage of the player base that reached a certain floor, and the top 10% of players that reach the highest floor will get the essentially the rank 1 rewards, which is a badge and a sticker, some customization seeds, and some gacha tickets. And then the rewards obviously go down from there. Okay. And so, yeah, the idea is you just want to try and be in that top 10% of players so that you can get the best rewards. All right. Since I beat max level, that means I'm automatically going to be in the top 10%, which is nice. So I don't really have to worry about it. I can just go ahead and grind. You can see the party that I used to get that. I have since pulled for Belle, and so I've changed my party, and I will kind of show you how that works. But once you have reached the sort of max level and you can't really go any further, ideally you want to go down and find the level that you can beat in one go. I would say the lowest you want to go is probably level 10. So even if it takes you like 2 turns at level 10, that's probably the best, because you get a good sort of ratio of medals per time or per run. And it's a really, really easy one to farm. So that's why I've been farming level 10. Some people like to farm level 20, and that's fine too. If your team's really strong and you can beat level 20 in like 1 or 2 turns, maybe level 20 is better for you. Personally, I'm farming level 10, but the next kind of big jump in medals is level 20. So that's the way you want to go. You get 100 medals for doing the max level, but that one takes several turns. It's just not as good on your turn economy for farming. All right. But after you do some farming, you come to the exchange shop here, and there's lots of good stuff. You see the event gacha ticket, so that's the ticket you need to get to actually pull for Cinderella. You won't actually see Cinderella's banner until you get this ticket, so you have to acquire the ticket first, then Cinderella's banner will appear in the gacha tab. So if you're wondering where to actually pull her, it doesn't appear until you buy that ticket. So buy the ticket first, then you can pull her. Then you can see you can buy all the medals that you need. So there's 600 a pop to get all 10 medals, or all 10 packs of 100 medals to fully limit break your Cinderella. And so that instantly makes her, bar none better than Carnival Mickey, who is also sort of a free AoE unit. It even makes her better than like an LB0 or LB1 Maleficent, because Maleficent doesn't get the massive damage modifier until she reaches LB2. Same goes with Donald Duck, same goes with Mulan. And so you could argue that Cinderella actually deals comparable, if not better, damage than an LB0 or LB1 Maleficent at full level. So just keep that in mind. But you can see there's a lot of stuff you can buy in here: customization seeds, attack cubes, defense cubes. You can see I've been buying some materials to rarity up, to level up and awaken my units. I've gotten some stamina pots. So you can see some of the things that I've already purchased from farming the event. I really wanted to get my Belle up to level 90 as soon as possible, because she's, for being a good support, she's also kind of squishy. You notice, like, she's got a decent defense line. Like, she's almost got 1200 defense, but her HP is pretty low. Like, compare that to Baymax, for example, who has almost 2500 HP. Slightly lower defense, but HP is arguably more important. So he's got almost 2500 HP, whereas Belle has, just under 2200. So that can make the difference between the unit surviving and dying, that 300 HP there. So she's a little on the squishy side, which is why I wanted to get her to level 90 as soon as possible. So just keep that in mind. If you do go for Belle, she is on the squishy side. So make sure you have some good buffs to keep her going, or just level her up to level 90 so you don't have to worry about it so much. Yeah, so that's pretty much it as far as like the content goes. Like I said, I will sort of showcase Belle here in just a second in the event going against the max level. But yeah, just some things that I want to sort of go over. So some of the things that have really made my journey easier are, one, Genie. All right, Genie has made life so easy in this game. So if you're a new player and you're re-rolling, I cannot stress enough that pulling for Genie is single-handedly going to be the best thing you do for your game, all right, to improve your game. All right, he's a fantastic unit. He has carried my team and gotten my team through so many things. I wish I had Winnie the Pooh, because he is also a very, very good buffer. But yeah, Genie. He is the number one unit to re-roll for, hands down. Another thing that I think is very, very important in this game, especially for harder bosses, a lot of people complain about the bonus boss Maleficent because of the skill lock issue. And I gotta say, rolling for skill lock resist, okay, with the ability seeds, huge. Prioritize your healer for skill lock resist. The one person you do not want to have their skill locked is your healer. So do whatever you have to do, get skill lock resist on your healer, rolling those customization seeds, right? So what I'm talking about there with the customization seeds are these little guys. So the customization screen where you roll for different abilities, roll for skill lock resist. All right, start with your healer, and then if you can get it on your other support units, that's going to make life so much easier on you, okay? Skill lock resist is huge, at least for now. For now, it's a really, really big thing. I know there are healers out there that can actually remove skill lock resist, like if you have an LB1 Rapunzel, or if you have an LB1 Piglet. Piglet actually gets, you see it says Cure Stun, but if you have him at LB1, he also gets skill lock resist. So if you have a healer, like if you have an LB1 Rapunzel, definitely put skill lock resist on her too, because then she can cure everybody of skill lock resist. You see I've also got skill lock resist on my Belle. Okay, I rolled for that as soon as I picked her up. I started rolling for skill lock resist and managed to pick it up. I also have skill lock resist on my Genie. It's only 50%. That was the best I could roll for him. But yeah, even 50% skill lock resist is going to save your life in certain situations. All right. Another thing that I learned is that AoE damage dealers are really great for farming, but they're not necessarily great for bosses. Unless you have them at LB2 or higher. And again, that's because of that difference in heavy damage and massive damage. So for example, like my Mickey, starting right out of the gate, even at LB0, he's already dealing massive damage to one enemy, which is a much higher damage modifier. It's literally 50% more damage than heavy damage. So having massive damage modifier is 50% better damage than a heavy damage modifier. So just keep that in mind. Same thing goes with Judy. She's single target, but even straight out of the gate, she's dealing massive damage. And single targets also have much lower SP cost, 20 as opposed to most AoEs, which are doing 30. Against bosses, you typically don't actually want that much AoE damage because you don't want to enrage them while you're trying to kill the little ads that surround them. You want to single target them. So you're not going to be actually using those AoE damage skills very often. So that's just my personal opinion. You can agree or disagree, but that's something that I think is really, really important, and that I think you guys all should know. All right, I think that's pretty much it. I'll do a quick showcase of Belle. We'll go ahead and take on the max level boss here. And we'll showcase Belle, and we'll get this one done. When I did it with Daisy, so the first time I beat it, I did it with Daisy in place of Belle there, and it took me like 16 turns to beat the boss. But when I swapped in Belle and did a test run, I beat it in like 7 turns. So it's like she definitely speeds things up. You can see I'm using the Brave Beat EX ability because I honestly I'm not. You know, Gemstone Dream came in handy against Maleficent when I needed a buffer while I was getting skill locked. So that was actually, you know, it's situational. Gemstone Dream can come in handy, but more often than not, I'm using Brave Beat for SP regeneration. So yeah, we'll see if we end up needing it here, but yeah. All right, so let's get in here and let's see how we beat this max level boss. All right, so I'm going to start off with some buffs, and then I'm actually going to guard these guys so we don't enrage the boss on the first turn. I want to get a couple of buffs. That's one more thing that I've learned in this game is that buffs stack, and even buffs cast by the same unit stack with themselves. So Genie can cast his buff 3 turns in a row, and everything stacks. So, you know, you get like a level 5 attack buff on the third turn, and you can just maintain that indefinitely by just continuing to cast his EX skill. Same thing goes with all the rest of his buffs. His damage mitigation and his evasion, those also stack with each other. So you'll notice we, you know, the hits that we do take are heavily mitigated, but then you'll notice we also dodge a lot of attacks. All right. So we're going to go ahead and buff again, and this time we're going to do normal attacks. All right. So we're going to stack up our buffs. So we now have level 4 crit chance, level 4 crit power up. All right, we're activating a lot of EX skills now. Okay, so that's just a lot of free damage there is what that is. Okay, literally just getting free damage. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm actually just going to attack with everybody because what I'd like to do, all right, Belle's actually looking a little low. I'm going to have her defend. And then I'm going to do Genie. Actually, I'll go ahead and do Genie's buff again because I want to maintain that. I would like to go ahead and just maintain that. I'm going to defend Belle because I don't want to lose her. And then we're just going to send everybody else to attack. So that's another thing I've learned is that defend is really, really, really crucial in this game. I've used it a lot. All right, so now we've put the boss in confusion mode, which is great. All right, now we can heal. So I'm going to use Baymax to heal. Also, his regen's going to proc on this turn. Everyone else can just do a normal attack. So we build up our SP gauge, and then we can do some more buffs next turn. So look at it. Everybody's proccing an EX skill on this turn. I love it. I love it. So I love the synergy that Belle brings to my team because for the longest time, Hero Mickey, I could never get his EX skill to proc because I didn't have a good crit buffer. And so now I do, and so now it's just, I'm just like melting through these bosses. All right, we're gonna do another double buff here to re-up our crit chance, re-up our buffs and everything, and just keep on attacking. All right, look at all that free damage. All right, see how we're dodging so many of these attacks? All right, I'm gonna have Genie do another buff. Actually, let's see, what are we looking at? All right, so yeah, we definitely need to do another buff to re-up that. Okay, yeah, so we'll do another buff with Genie. And then we'll just do normal attacks. We should be getting our miracle ability. Boom, there we go. So next turn we'll use that, and then we'll actually start to unload some damage skills. Okay, so I'm going to use the Brave Beat to fill up our SP gauge, and then we can start unloading some damage skills here. Okay. Let's see, 9, 7, 8. All right, we'll have Mickey do his. Okay, there we go. Gonna get a few more damage. We might actually get him out of... Oh, there we go. Yeah, we just went ahead and killed him. Yeah, turn 7. What did I tell you? 7 turns. First time it took me like 16, so it's amazing how much quicker you can get things done with a good buffer. So yeah, support units, hands down. And there's your 100 medals. Yippee. Great. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So there's Belle in a nutshell, showing off her skills on how she can get her done. So thank you guys so much for following me. I hope this was helpful. Not sure when I'll do any more content. There's not really a whole lot out there. If you want to see me do like the bonus bosses, I'd be happy to show you me taking down the bonus bosses. With Belle, it's going to be super easy. Barely an inconvenience, as they say. For those of you that love screen or never mind. Anyways, thank you guys for following me. I'll see you on the other side.